So we're heading up now to the northernmost tip. I guess we're heading towards Grantham now. These are unfamiliar roads to me, but I'd imagine we're heading up towards Grantham. Once we don't actually get quite that far, and then we head south again. So I know from the position of the sun and the position and the direction of the wind that we are heading sort of northeasterly. Got the road to myself. Beautiful dry surface. Won't get much better than this. Got to keep your wits about you on these roads, no doubt about it. Found myself going into that right-hander slightly too hot, so instinctively I reached for the front brake, which meant the bike stood up. So that's what you don't do, isn't it? As I understand it, you go into a corner slightly too hot, then you should counter steer. I should have pushed hard right, but I wasn't going so fast, but it's a lesson. Yeah, that wind's really getting up now. You can see away to my left, it's absolutely wide open. Come on. You don't mean the second, do you? You mean the third, I think. Right, so I think that was the summit now. And why the summit? I mean the turning point, the point at which I stop heading north and start heading in a southerly direction. So the wind now appears to be coming across my right shoulder, so I think that's where we are. Yep, heading south towards the sun, it being noon. I need to be a little bit careful now because we've got a combination of strong gusting wind and an unknown road and a lot of twists and turns and ups and downs, so I shall be erring on the cautious side. Always good to be cautious. So we're in Lincolnshire now, we're heading southbound, heading for Rutland, and we're going to just graze Rutland Water to our right. a little bit further on in the ride. But from what I've seen so far, this Rutland TT, definitely something I want to do again. And it's just nice to pick such a nice quiet day actually to do it. I think this first section south is actually quite challenging actually, in terms of its the number of bends and the angle of them. Lovely piece of road though. Trying to put into practice a tip one of the commenters put on about it's not just about the vanishing point. You don't just position yourself at the vanishing point, but particularly on a road like today, you've got a really good clue from the hedges and the trees, things like telegraph poles as well. So you've got a real sense as to where the road's going. You need to set yourself up for that. Amazing how the wind affects your balance actually. It just hits you suddenly coming over a crest, moves you on the road. Not something I've experienced like that before. But it's nice to have the road to myself now, nothing behind or in front. Well, I've got to say the Sat-Nav 6 is performing admirably at the moment. I don't know these roads at all, and it's taking me where I thought it was going to take me. So it's just another little bit of learning to internalise. Yeah, I've got to say, what are we now? Probably an hour and a half or so into the ride. Done 70 miles, I actually feel very relaxed. So I probably will stop if I see somewhere obvious, but I'm actually quite enjoying riding at the moment, so I'm inclined to keep going. And just another little footnote as well, the modification I made to my earphones has certainly paid off on this route. They feel comfortable. I would say the sound quality is better by a factor of 3. So I'm actually pleased with that. So I'm actually listening to a little bit of choral music today. I'm now entering the county of Rutland. Well, I can heartily recommend the Rutland TT, folks, if you're in the vicinity. About 3 hours, I reckon, plus any stops you want. But you know, I've hit patches of traffic, but I mean, I've had the road to myself for the last 30 minutes. Right, so this is the first time the sat-nav has misled me, actually, because it sent me through Great Casterton. Now it wants me to come back, asked me to do a U-turn. We'll see what happens. Sometimes it can be a little bit clunky linking the two sections together. Okay, see what happens next then, shall we? I think that's the first time on the route. I reckon I'm probably 2/3 of the way around now, maybe slightly less than 2/3 of the way around. I reckon that's the first time the sat-nav has actually misled me. Right, so I think now we're actually bearing down towards Rutland Water, actually. Heading sort of southeast. Not a part of the country I know very well. Yeah, definitely in the vicinity now. Yeah, and there's Rutland Water on the right hand side. Huge expanse of water with a sort of peninsula in the middle. It was, I think it was artificially flooded many years ago to form a reservoir. Don't know very much about it, to be honest. It's a big centre for sort of sailing and water sports. So this is where I've deviated slightly away from the standard Rutland TT, but I was just curious to take in a little bit of Rutland Water, so to speak. Well, this is a nice bit of road, isn't it? Right, so off we go, take advantage of the free 15-minute glimpse. Well, a new little challenge there. What do you do when you go to a car park? Just trying to put the ticket in there, and the barrier was up anyway. All new stuff. So the home stretch now from Rutland Water back down to Market Harborough. Just got to get cross country a little bit. Will do, but anyway, we'll take it as far as we can. But if it gets cut off suddenly, you know what's happened. Right hand side, and we're heading southeast through Rutland County, and I guess we'll soon be coming in back into Leicestershire. Okay, so just coming through Uppingham now onto the final leg of the Rutland TT. This is a lovely sort of snaky B road that takes you into just north of Market Harborough, and that's the conclusion of the ride. And home for lunch. So this road gives me a chance to practice my my cornering positions, particularly. Snakes around a lot, ups and downs. Get my counter steering going. For me, the more time on the bike, the more I can internalise these habits. Hairpin bend. And back into Leicestershire. So we've gone from Leicestershire to Lincolnshire to Rutland, and then back into Leicestershire again. And we're going to follow the B664 all the way from Uppingham through to Market Harborough now. This is a road I did a couple of weeks back when I was testing the mirrors out, actually. So I wouldn't say I'm familiar with it, but I've been down it once. So a good chance for me now to practice my poise on the bike. I think the lessons that the instructor gave me on my first observed ride, about sitting on the balls of my feet on the footrests, nice light grip on the handrests, and just letting the bike move and respond to the road surface underneath it. Watch the hedges and the vanishing points. So again, the hedge going away to the right here gives us the clue, doesn't it, as to where the road's going. Move away from the oncoming van. A little bit of gentle power on around the corner. Well, what a wonderful day. And unlike Lincolnshire, these hedges here in Leicestershire are shielding me from that strong gusting wind. So one of the purposes of this ride, as I said, was just to try and put everything together really. Does it all fit together? Does it work? Can I start to extend my distances out? And I think on today's performance, I think I'm probably quite comfortable now with a probably 3-4 hour ride. Again, if you've been following my journey from the beginning, you'll see that I was really just out for 30 minutes at a time. And even then I was getting overloaded. So as a back-to biker, I think the message is you've got to build your stamina up in layers. Keep adding, keep practicing. You know, you get the instruction, work on something specific, don't try and work on everything all the time. Well, isn't that a magnificent view over Leicestershire? Absolutely beautiful. So yeah, certainly not the finished article, but maybe a little more competent than I was when I started. Means I can enjoy this ride rather than being intimidated by it. And with every mile I do on the RT as well, of course I'm getting more and more familiar with the bike itself, because all the way through I've been making the point that my journey isn't just about learning the roadcraft, it's also about learning the bike. And when you learn the roadcraft and when you learn the bike, and when you can navigate some routes, and you put those three things together and you've got sufficient conditions to go on some adventures safely. That was the plan. Sat-nav definitely playing a few tricks today. Wanted me to go a bit of a strange route through that village, but I remembered the route from last time, so I know where I want to be. I think when you use a sat-nav, you've got to have quite a clear idea as to where you want to go, so you have the power to overrule. Anyway, back on track again. I'd say the sat-nav's done probably a 7.5 out of 10 job today. Couldn't have done it without it, no doubt about that. I've no doubt at all you could get airborne on these bumps. And the 664 is quite a different character actually to the roads we've been on. It is a B road, but it's a lot tighter actually, I would say, than the roads on the outbound legs of the Rutland TT. Guess it depends where you start from, doesn't it? Lovely churches on this route, and some of these churches go back 1,000 years, maybe even more. Well, it was for days like today I bought this bike. Obviously we'll be pushing further afield as we go through the year. But very happy with today really. Everything really, I think the bike, the training, the modifications I've made to the bike, the grip puppies and the wing mirrors, the improved earphones for listening to music, and the sat-nav, everything's worked together really well. So very pleased. So this will be the first of a series of tours I'll be putting together, or rather following. So as I said, the book Bikers Britain by Simon Weir, give that a recommend. It's a nice format. It's just designed actually so it'll fit in a tank top bag. You can fold it back on itself. It's got spiral bound. And also you can, I think you can actually download some of the routes off the internet, but I must be honest, I wasn't able to do that. So I actually put it in myself. But funnily enough, put it in myself actually helped me to memorise the route a little bit. So a longer video than normal. Hope you've enjoyed that, folks. So this is the Rutland TT, just coming back onto down into Market Harbour now. So I shall bid you farewell and thank you for watching, and wish you all safe riding. And see you next time. This is Back to the Bike signing off. And on this run I've clocked up 5,000 miles. Lovely little town, Market Harbour. Classic English market town. Got everything you want here. Nice smell of pies as well coming from somewhere. And I haven't had any lunch, so I'm hungry. I probably should have stopped somewhere, but I've enjoyed myself too much.